This is OneWrestling.com, 24/7 wrestling news.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Big Ray's Wrestling Show. I am the Mark of the Masters, the man with the plan. Big Ray here to stay to talk some TNA today, ladies and gentlemen. Impact 1/4/2013. We're going to jump right into the show. We have the Aces and Eights, and they come into the ring. And the Aces and Eights are led by D'Lo Brown, the vice president. Now, Mr. Anderson gets on the mic first, and Mr. Anderson goes on about how he has a vest, a personally made vest, which is basically not just a vest, but it's an invitation for AJ Styles to join the Aces and Eights. Basically, the Aces and Eights are a group of guys who feel like, they've been slighted by TNA wrestling or wrestling in general. So they are kind of catering to the fact, obviously, that AJ Styles has felt like he's been slighted by TNA, that everybody's turned their back on AJ Styles. And AJ Styles is kind of, if you've been watching the last couple of weeks, you know that he's kind of changed. His attitude has changed. He's more serious. He's more dangerous. We're going to see what happens, but he puts the offer out to AJ Styles, which is going to be interesting. We're going to find out later on what happens when AJ Styles is confronted in the ring by, well, I'll tell you later. But we move on and we have Devon. And Devon has an envelope in the ring, and Devon basically says this yellow manila envelope will change the relationship between Bully Ray and Brooke Hogan. We move on again, and we have D'Lo Brown, and D'Lo Brown receives an envelope also. It's a little white envelope, and D'Lo Brown goes on and states that it's his termination paper. It's his termination letter, and D'Lo Brown is upset because he says he got no phone calls. There was no meeting, nothing special. D'Lo Brown feels like he's given so much to TNA that he deserves a little bit more. So D'Lo Brown actually challenges, and he demands that one of the TNA, heads, somebody that leads TNA, one of the members of the TNA management, come down and tell D'Lo to his face why he is fired. Well, a member of management doesn't come down, but Kurt Angle does come down. And Kurt Angle says, I have something to say to you. And Kurt Angle slowly walks down the aisle to the ring, and he says, I'm not going to say it back here. I'm going to say it to your face. I'm going to get in the ring, and I'm going to say it to your face. And Kurt Angle says, I have something to say to you. He gets up close. Kurt Angle attacks. He attacks D'Lo Brown. Well, obviously, all the Aces and Eights swarm the ring. And this is when EY, Eric Young, Samoa Joe, Magnus, Joseph Park, they all jump in the ring and they save Kurt Angle. So basically, they go crazy. A big fight breaks out, and these TNA 5 are able to make the Aces and Eights retreat. Apparently, there's going to be a huge 10-man tag team match for the main event tonight, so that's going to be really interesting. We move on to the back, and we have a little comedy. We have Joey Ryan, who I haven't seen on TV. I haven't seen him in the ring really much lately, and personally, this is my opinion. I would like to know what you guys think. You guys know you can follow us here at OneWrestling.com, YouTube /OneWrestling Video. Follow me on Twitter at Big Ray Show. I think it's a shame. I think Joey Ryan has a lot of potential. I think he's good in the ring. I would like to know what you guys think. I think it's a shame that he hasn't been on TV. And right here, Joey Ryan makes a couple of he's talking to Brooke, and he says, "Hey, would you like a sucker?" Making excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. Making all these sexual innuendos, but basically he states that he wants to be the referee for the TNA Knockouts. I personally, as soon as I heard it, I chuckled a little bit, and I thought that was a horrible idea. But apparently Brooke has been under so much stress that she thinks it's a good idea. The only thing is that she's asking Mr. Sleaze himself, Joey Ryan, not to touch any of these half-naked, in shape, good-looking women while they're sweaty and rubbing all over each other. Well, we move on to the tag team match between Taryn Terrell and Velvet Sky versus Gail Kim and Tara. And basically the entire match, Joey Ryan is fondling the girls. He's massaging them and grabbing them, and you know, there are multiple pins, bridges, roll-ups, and instead of Joey Ryan actually counting the shoulders down, sorry, I'm laughing. I thought it was pretty funny. I would like to know what you guys think, if you thought this little segment was funny. Again, I don't focus on the knockouts much, but I thought Joey Ryan brought something to this. But anyway, instead of counting their shoulders down, he was looking at their crotches, looking at their butts. He was checking them out. It was pretty funny. Now, towards the end of the match, we have Taryn Terrell, who basically rolled up Gail Kim. Now, excuse me, prior to this, Gail Kim started flirting and touching and groping and kind of, you know, trying to get in the head of Joey Ryan. Well, Gail Kim ends up getting rolled up. Well, Joey Ryan is not counting. Joey Ryan is apparently rubbing oil all over his disgusting hairy chest. And he doesn't see the count. Now, for some reason, when Gail Kim actually reverses it, Joey Ryan sprints over. Taryn Terrell gets her shoulders pinned. 1, 2, 3. It was a really quick count, and off they go. And apparently, Gail Kim got what she wanted. She actually leaves the ring without Joey Ryan, and so does her partner Tara, who left with Jesse. So Joey Ryan goes back in the ring, and he apparently starts flirting with Taryn Terrell and Velvet Sky. Well, basically, while Velvet Sky is getting the attention of Joey Ryan, Taryn Terrell hits him with a low blow from behind. So Joey Ryan basically gets his just desserts. Now, will we continue to see Joey Ryan in this role? Excuse me. Or will we actually see him on television? I mean, really, what the hell happened between him, Joey Ryan, and Matt Morgan? I mean, I saw some real good potential there, but I guess TNA has bigger plans for Matt Morgan. I guess they felt that he'd be held back by Joey Ryan, but again, I think Joey Ryan's a great mouthpiece. Maybe he could have acted like a manager / in-ring performer. But again, my opinion. We're gonna move on to the tag team title contract signing, which wasn't a big fan of this week, and I felt that this show had a little bit of a slower pace. It wasn't one of their better shows. It was still a good show, again, my opinion, but it was a little slower paced. Decent. The matches weren't as good as the last couple of weeks. I think TNA has been putting fantastic shows up the last couple of weeks. So this one's a little slower paced. Again, not one of the best shows, but again, we're slowly building up towards the pay-per-view, and again, TNA has cut down to 4 or 5 major pay-per-views a year, so there's going to be a slow build-up. So I can understand why TNA did what they did with today's show. But Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, the tag team champions, Chavo and Hernandez are in the ring, and they're going over the contract, and they're basically adding little things here and there because they Austin Aries and Bobby Roode said, look, it's not an ironclad contract. We can add a couple of more things to make the match more interesting. So basically, they start writing things down. Both teams actually signed it. Now, I did notice that Hernandez seemed to be a little hesitant with one of the last stipulations that was put forth by Austin Aries and Roode. And apparently, the match is going to be best 2 out of 3 falls, which is great. Okay. But if Chavo and Hernandez lose, they can never be a tag team again. Now, this kind of sets something up for me in my mind. I'm wondering if Chavo and Hernandez actually lose the match, or if they lose the match because, let's say, Chavo gets pinned. Does Hernandez being hesitant? Does Hernandez get upset at Chavo? Does Hernandez potentially turn on Chavo? Anything is possible. I can actually see that happening down the line. But anyway, we're going to move on to Gut Check. And this was something I was really interested in watching this week. Again, I had spoke about Scrap Iron, Adam Pearce. I'm not really a big fan of Magno. I don't know much about him. But it's funny because I was watching, they had like the little video clips before, explaining, talking about the wrestlers. And I said to myself, oh crap, look, Colt Cabana is finally on TNA Wrestling. But he's getting beat up by Adam Pearce. And which led me to think about this question. What And I would like you guys to respond. Please leave a comment below here at onewrestling.com or YouTube/OneWrestlingVideo. What are some of, give me one or two indie wrestlers right now, not former WWE wrestlers, independent wrestlers that haven't had a big break. Give me a couple of names. Tell me about them. I would like to know about them. Tell me if they're on YouTube. Tell me where to find them. Tell our fans at onewrestling.com where to find them. Give me one or two independent wrestlers that you would like to see on TNA Wrestling for gut check, or get a chance or get a break at TNA Wrestling. Colt Cabana would be one of mine. I've been a Colt Cabana fan for a very, very long time. I think he's hilarious in the ring. But, you know, I've seen a lot of great, serious matches between Colt Cabana. Just YouTube Colt Cabana and CM Punk. I mean, those guys put together some really awesome matches. But I would like to see Colt Cabana get a shot. TNA gut check, maybe get a contract with TNA. I'd like to see where his character would go. But anyway, we move on. We have Magno versus Scrap Iron Adam Pearce. And now, again, this is my opinion. I'm not a professional wrestler. My father was. But I felt watching this match, number one, Magno is exciting. Magno he's the cruiserweight. He's the flying Mexican cruiserweight, you know, doing the flips and the dips and the Hurricane Ranas and the planches, and he was good. But there were a couple of instances where I thought he would either hurt himself or hurt Adam Pearce, and I think that's a big no-no when wrestling promotions are trying to bring in a wrestler. I mean, let's be honest. In WWE, Sin Cara was, you know, the internet wrestling community would basically call him Sin Bacha. You know, the guy botched basically everything. And this guy looked like, and again, I'm not criticizing him, but the truth is the truth. The guy didn't look really spectacular in the ring. Now, he did some spectacular things, but I think Adam Pearce, who actually wins the match, he rolls up Magno and holds on to the bottom rope to get some leverage. He gets the 1, 2, 3. He actually, I think, put forth more of a professional performance in the ring. Again, my opinion. I really would like to know what you guys think. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if TNA decides to sign both these guys. And maybe put Magno in the X Division. I could see him doing some X Division matches. But, man, I'm telling you, I got scared a couple of times. He did this springboard move where he jumped off the top, the middle of the rope, the top middle rope, and, you know, it's kind of like what Owen Hart used to do with the Blue Blazer, but he flipped backwards and landed basically on his neck, and I think his knee landed on Adam Pearce's jaw. I have to go back and check it out. So very dangerous. But anyway, we're gonna move on. Adam Pearce actually wins the match, and I think he will get the contract, and he will be a permanent member of TNA Wrestling. But again, I can see Magno in the X Division. Maybe not just yet. My opinion. I would like to know what you guys think. We move on. Now, backstage, we have Ken Anderson. And Ken Anderson finds AJ Styles in the back. He's with the Aces and Ace guy. And he actually hands him the vest. And he makes a relatively compelling argument as to why AJ Styles should join the Aces and Aces. And AJ Styles looks at the vest and appears like he's contemplating actually maybe joining this faction. We go on and we have Hulk Hogan, brother. He's in the ring, and Hulk Hogan, he basically says he's not going to make any more mistakes. He's going to be judging and doing things with his gut. He should have followed his gut the first time, Hogan says, and he's not going to make the same mistakes. So Hulk Hogan calls out AJ Styles, brother, and he actually says brother. AJ Styles comes to the ring, and Hulk Hogan, he explains to AJ Styles that he understands. You know, Hulk Hogan's been through a hell of a lot, and I know we're going from a work to real life, and in real life, Hulk Hogan's been through hell. So basically, I think he was working that into the show today, and he basically explained it to AJ Styles. Look, I've been there. You know, I've been through my ups and downs. I've had a lot of problems, but you know, the path that I see AJ Styles, I see you going, AJ Styles, is not one that I'm comfortable with. But if you're gonna be serious, AJ Styles, if you're gonna be angry, you know, dangerous, AJ Styles, then, you know, that would be great. We need you to help us. And he goes on and explains how AJ Styles has been part of the TNA family, one of the mainstays in TNA forever. Well, AJ Styles finally takes the mic and breaks his silence, and he asked Hulk Hogan, well, do you want me to help you? And then Cowboy James Storm comes to the ring, and Cowboy James Storm interrupts, and he's upset because AJ Styles did absolutely nothing to help him last week while he was getting jumped by the Aces and Eights. And Cowboy James Storm goes on and on about how basically they drove in the same roads together, and he just continued to go on and on about how they were the backbone of TNA, which is actually true. If you go back to the old days of TNA wrestling, Cowboy James Storm has been there pretty much since the beginning, and so has AJ Styles. And the one thing is, Cowboy James Storm doesn't. I don't think he feels the same way Hulk Hogan does, and he basically tells him, and I quote, "Clock out before you get knocked out." Now, I thought they were going to start a fight, but AJ Styles basically backs off, slowly walks away from the ring with his back turned to the ring, and he's staring at that Aces and Eights vest. I honestly don't think AJ Styles is going to be part of the Aces and Eights, but I also don't think he's going to have anything to do with TNA. I think he's going to go out on his own. I think he's going to be his own man, and I think he's going to kick some butt, and I think it's going to be really, really good to see serious AJ Styles. I've said it 1,000 times over the last couple of weeks in the ring. We move on to the three-way X Division match for number one contenders match between Mason Andrews, Sanjay Dutt, and Petey Williams. And I think I expressed last week how much I love Petey Williams. He's also been another guy when he was with the Canadian faction earlier in TNA back in the day, and he has one of the most awesome finishing moves, the Canadian Destroyer, which is basically a sunset flip pile driver, and that's basically how he won this match. And it's cool because Petey Williams can basically pull that rabbit out of his hat at any time. Andrews was actually running towards Petey Williams in the corner. Petey Williams went for what I thought was going to be basically a sunset flip, but ends up hitting the Canadian Destroyer. So Petey Williams is the number one contender for that X Division Championship. And I think Petey Williams, and Kenny King are going to put together one hell of a match. And I'm really excited to see that. I would like to know what you guys think. Now, the final match of the evening is the 10-man tag team match. And we have the Aces and Eights and their 5 guys versus Team TNA. And basically, it was a long match. It went to commercial break once, and it was a really, really good match. I enjoyed it. I thought TNA, even though it was a slower pace, I thought it ended up really, really strong. And basically, all the guys are in the ring. All hell's breaking loose. Samoa Joe's doing diving planches through the second rope. I mean, these guys went balls to the walls, they say. And Joseph Park, again, one of my favorite guys, was basically the star of this show, and he was cleaning house like nobody's business the entire match. At one point, he's alone in the ring with Devon. Devon basically slamming him to the mat and going to the top rope, missing the diving headbutt, and Joseph Park goes to the second rope to hit him with a big splash off the second rope when Bischoff and Briscoe come into the ring to break that up. But Joseph Park actually hits him with a double clothesline, knocking them out of the ring. Now, basically, all hell is breaking loose. The referee's outside the ring trying to get everything composed and together. DOC actually comes into the ring, hits Joseph Park with a low blow. That's the second low blow tonight, guys. Ding, ding. Second low blow tonight. Joseph Park goes down in the heap. The referee just happens to get into the ring at the right time, and Joseph Park is down for the 1, 2, 3. So the Aces and Eights again win another match, looking strong. The Aces and Eights, who would have thought a big heel faction looking strong every single week? They're looking stronger and stronger every single week. So we're gonna move on. And earlier in the evening, Devon had alluded to the fact that there was an envelope, and basically, we're not going to play dumb. The divorce papers. And Bully Ray is in the ring, and he basically, he puts over the match, the Full Metal Mayhem match between him and Jeff Hardy, which is basically a TLC match, but they can't use the TLC, I guess, term in TNA. And he puts over the match, and then he calls Brooke Hogan into the ring. And Brooke Hogan earlier was talking to Hulk Hogan, her dad, and she said she's going to the ring. She's going to bring security, but she needs to basically end this. And Bully Ray, they're going back and forth with their banter, and Bully Ray is asking Brooke how come she's not wearing her wedding ring, so on and so forth. And Brooke's giving him that look like you're a douche, you screwed me over. Why should I? And Bully Ray makes a funny comment where he basically says that security should be here because you're a maniac, you're crazy. You went nuts when I won the TNA championship. You should have been hugging and kissing on me. But then he starts getting a little serious, and he starts cornering Brooke in the corner. He starts kind of bullying Brooke into the corner. I guess he's Bully Ray. He would do that, and he's basically. He keeps going, saying that he's been in Brooke's head. He's been in Brooke's head, and it looks like he's about to to beat the living daylights out of Brooke Hogan when Jeff Hardy makes the save. Now, the night goes off with Bully and Jeff Hardy beating the living daylights out of each other in the ring. But this is something interesting that I picked out. Bully Ray, when Jeff Hardy hit the ring, Bully Ray actually tells Brooke, "Get the hell out of my ring." In a way, he kind of saved Brooke Hogan. He's saving Brooke Hogan from getting hurt. Now, there have been rumors that Brooke Hogan may be in cahoots with Bully Ray. Well, Bully Ray doesn't give a damn about Brooke Hogan. Why would he ask her to get out of the ring? Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Impact. Earlier I said it was 1/4/13. I'm way behind. It's actually 4/4/13. It is the month of April, and this weekend, the 7th, Saturday, I will be at WrestleCon with the legend Bill Apter, representing OneWrestling.com. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're here in New Jersey, well, I'm in New York, but I'm driving to New Jersey. If you're there in New Jersey for WrestleCon, please stop by, say hello to us. I love to meet, some of the people that I interact with on Twitter all the time. And speaking of Twitter, and speaking of following us here, you can follow us here every single week at OneWrestling.com, YouTube /OneWrestling Video, and you can follow me on Twitter at Big Ray's Show. Ladies and gentlemen, I say this every single week. I would do this for a living, but if I can't, I would do it anyway. Why? Because I love talking wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope to see you next week. Now, I am doing a WrestleMania recap. Unfortunately, I couldn't get into WrestleMania this year. I tried, but tickets aren't easy to come by. But I will be watching the show live, and I will be doing a show immediately after WrestleMania, and I may be doing like a little preview show with a couple of my buddies. It should be fun. We're going to have a little fun with it, so I hope you guys watch. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I hope to see you guys soon. Check me out at WrestleCon. Follow me on Twitter at Big Ray Show. I'll see you next week. Peace.